Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and today we have a special video with a special somebody. We have Dogbert here to talk about Apocalypse. Now, we all know that he's around the corner, and maybe you'll be getting him next week, maybe you won't. But I do want to talk about what his impact may or may not be, especially in the arena meta that a lot of people might be wondering, because that's supposed to be the big thing for him. And more, but I mean, we're going to be talking all about that today. So, what's going on, Dogbert?
Hi, how's it going?
You excited to talk about some Apocalypse? You looking forward to him?
Yes, but not for the reason everybody else is.
I think that's probably what we're going to get at today. So, if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. Okay, so this is my arena team. I have not moved in a month. I'm not even joking. It's probably more than a month now. I'm at rank 34. Now, I know I could be doing a lot better, but I don't know. I guess my shard's super lazy, and I don't know. It's good for me, but I don't have to do much. And so this is my arena team. Is this... I mean, we talked about this team like months ago, right? Like as soon as 2099 and when Weaver started becoming meta. And this pretty much beats like most of the stuff that like I would see now. Actually, I haven't opened my arena window in ages, so I don't know. But let's find out. So you tell me. Like, I mean, is the team that I'm using like probably, or some variation of that would probably beat most? Do people use Archangel in the arena? I don't know. Is he?
They try, but they lose.
Okay, so it's not good. So
no, he's terrible.
And like anything when I see Dormammu, pretty sure like my team does beat it because with the Eternals and whatnot, flipping all of that. There's even a Doom there. Is that good? I don't know. Not really, right? Or
he's trying to catch people with Eternals because they would set him off and he would be revived with Dormammu.
But you can see like it's pretty similar here for the most part. There's like
at your level, yes.
Well, I mean, this is a pretty. If I were to go further down, like to the top 20, top 15, it's a pretty veteran shard. I've been playing for like. I started 2 months after the game came out, but yeah, it's... So this is what I've been using, or some variation of, for a very long time. And I guess part of the video is that, like, are we going to see a lot of change? And I guess that's what we're going to get to in this video. And so we need to talk about, of course, Apocalypse, because that's what we're here to talk about, is Apocalypse and his upcoming release, which is next Friday, I'm pretty sure. If I got or no, is that the event? He's very soon. I think he's within a week. I think he does actually release on Friday. I have to double check that. But anyways, depends on when you're watching this video, of course. And there he is, right? In his beautiful glory is Apocalypse. You can see him on the screen here. Now, at least he looks cool. I like the sword. I kind of wonder the drill. Yeah, based on what you see in the cartoons, the 90s X-Men cartoon, it's not super surprising that they give him a drill. Kind of the tech thing. Are you disappointed that he's not also tech, or were you ever on the tech, the duo trait kind of bandwagon? Or
yeah, he really should be tech because he's got his tech from the Celestials.
I mean, you're seeing a fair bit of that on the screen a little bit, actually. I think,
yeah, I mean, he's got tech in him. I mean, he should really be both mutant and tech. That's his whole thing.
They obviously did that for a reason, though. But they do there's a call out for tech in his passive, actually, which seems very minor, but I wonder if that's ever going to play a role in the future. So before we, be negative netties about Apocalypse, which I think might be where we're headed, I do want to talk about his kit. So we've all read it, but I want to go over it again just to, get it back in our heads since he is coming out pretty soon. For those who will be getting him. So maybe we should start there. Are you going to be getting Baby Apocalypse?
Yes, I am. I am totally ready. I have all the characters at least gear 16. One thing I did have to do was take my unlimited up to gear 17, all of them, so I could get the blue ions out of that saga. They have enough blue ions to get everybody to blue ISO 4. That was the real bottleneck and still is for most people, I imagine.
You're not getting big Apocalypse, though, are you?
Oh, God, no. In order to get big Apocalypse, you pretty much have to spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on this game.
What I realize is that not only do you need blue 5 ions, but you need more blue 4 to upgrade to those blue 5s, which I kind of forgot about. But there's a good deal of extra blue 4s that you need on top of that as well, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Now the question is, do you think that it's a reasonable? Do you think people should? And maybe this is too early to ask that. Do you think people should, who aren't getting big apocalypse now, should they, try to get him at big, or would you just? Are you gonna maybe wait until the next big thing? Like, is your goal in your head a big apocalypse, or are you gonna like not bother?
My goal would be once they give us the blue 5 ions when we can actually get them, then I'll go after Big Apocalypse. But I'm not spending money to get the Big Apocalypse.
Are you upgrading any characters to any of the teams to blue 5 though, either for the costume or otherwise?
You don't get enough blue 5 to do that.
No, I mean like, are you sorry? G17 is what I meant to say. Are you upgrading any of the teams to G17 to get to their next saga, or are you for the costume and for some of the rewards, or are you not bothering with that?
Yeah, I am definitely doing that as I can. A few pieces away from getting Gamma up there.
So you are going to do the G17 for all 4 of the teams, and then maybe at some point eventually get to Big Apocalypse. Is that what you're?
Yeah, it's just going to be a slow road,
slow grind.
Yeah.
Do you think do you think everyone should do that? The same thing that you're doing, or?
Yeah, you should definitely at least do it for at least one team just to get the baby apocalypse if you need those ions, because it is quite a bit of ions you get out of it. Pretty much all you have to do is just prioritize Mystic, Bio, and one of the mutant teams.
I think my biggest concern is that if I start putting in G17 and Blue 5 into the Horseman teams, that at some stage before I even get to Big Apocalypse, there's going to be an announcement about some other stuff I should have used those resources on. And that's my biggest concern.
Yeah, the blue 5, I put the ones on Rogue, and I had some others from events that I got blue 5 ISO from. I put into Red Hulk because I know I use Red Hulk a lot in Arena. So to me, it was worth doing that. And if I'm ever going to get the big apocalypse, I got to put it into him anyway.
That's true.
I don't think we're going to see the next big thing for at least another year. So I got time.
Maybe we can do it. I'm always the cautious one here, so I'm like, oh, what if I wasted that, or what if I need it down the line? And so that's always my biggest concern. But let's talk about Apocalypse's kit again. So his basic, it's not bad. Like, this stuff works on Striker, right? The offense up and speed up. Is he basically going to be a Striker ISO, you think?
Yeah, I think he will be. Everybody will be putting him as Striker.
He has tons of drain, like all his attacks have 100% drain. So it's not a bad kit, but I think... is it necessarily what he does in his kit, or is it the other parts, right? And so before this video, we talked about things like his speed and things that he doesn't have that might cause issues with him and the 4 Horsemen. I was going to say, which of the 4 Horsemen are you? The reason why I was about to say that is because now that we have Kang, right? Do you think that Kang is going to play any role in this Apocalypse Horseman, or do you think that's just not a thing anymore? It's not necessarily going to happen.
Kang will be part of the arena for a while.
For offense,
Kang
anyways.
he'll be useful for quite a long time, like another Emma, another Cable. Kang will be a big part in countering the 4 Horsemen in Apocalypse. Yeah,
so I mean, I guess where I want to put this first is what does Apocalypse get, and what does he not get? Okay, so we can see the passive is the most important thing, because this is like what he gets on spawn, more or less, and so we know that this line right here is a counter to Emma. It's essentially it's anti. They might as well just named her in here, frankly, because it doesn't impact turn bar, right? It doesn't impact Kang. Correct. It doesn't impact any negative or positive turn bar.
Yeah, turn meter effects, like,
and we're gonna get to that. Why that's an issue. And so this is really just anti Emma. That's it.
Yep. That's what a lot of people are confused on. They don't realize that's just anti-Emma. They think it's anti-turn bar. It's like, nope.
Right, and I've had people ask me that too, and I'm like, no, it's pretty much just Emma. Like, unless maybe a future character comes out, but otherwise, she's the only one who changes that. At the start of any match, enemy characters cannot spawn with Safeguard. Okay, so in a mirror match, right, like, they're going to counter each other, I guess, but...
Well, you don't get Safeguard.
Well, Morgan does by herself, right?
Yeah, one character.
And we'll talk about that. So I guess she won't get it. And then she gets on spawn, he gains immunity. So great. Okay, he's gotten immunity, and we're going to talk about why that's not good enough. And this is pretty typical. This is like, Doom and Dormammu have something similar, although you will be healing him a bit for doing that. And this is pretty normal. Here's the tech call out, which is kind of funny. So I don't think that's any sizable. I don't think that's going to make a difference or anything really. But and then Morgan Le Fay. And so I want to talk about Morgan Le Fay in relation to, because her Darkhold team was the arena meta team, right? It was the first Horseman team. It was arena, specifically for arena.
It was supposed to be.
It didn't last that long, did it? I feel like the full team lasted maybe like 3 months. That's what I kind of remember. It was
shorter than that, and I beat it.
And then Eternals came out, or whenever, or maybe even before Eternals. I don't remember now.
Eternals came up long before Darkhold. Darkhold was supposed to beat.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah.
And then I came along.
There was a combination of... I forgot the Eternals were actually before. I got my timeline mixed up there. But yeah, the Eternals could find a way to still beat them, I think, is what ended up happening.
Yeah, I came up with a lot of different variants that beat them. It got so bad where once we had Rogue, I could literally just use the Eternals, Rogue, and Emma, and random 5th character, as bad as Hand Assassin, would beat them.
But she does have a good kit, and she has a good passive. And so I guess this doesn't matter anymore, right? Like, because we talked about Apocalypse, so we were kind of talking about how you don't get Safeguard with any of this. But also, Morgan Le Fay, hypothetically, she does give Safeguard to Darkhold, and it wouldn't have mattered then, would it, if she did extend this to Apocalypse? Because then if you went in a mirror match, it wouldn't have mattered.
Well, actually, it would matter a lot more with the arena meta if she gave Safeguard out, because that would change the whole fight. Right,
so we're not there about the characters that we're going to talk about, I think. So we're not quite there yet. But in a mirror match, it wouldn't have made a difference, though, because they would have canceled each other out on that part,
the
if that existed.
Apocalypse will take it out, yeah.
So, and actually, I didn't have them on the screen here. I should have. I don't know why I didn't. But we know that the Tangled Web is the meta, right? And so I should have brought them up on MSF or MarvelStrikeForce.com anyways. But it's all about this guy, right? He's up here somewhere. Where the fuck? Where are you? Over here. It's this guy, Spider-Man 2099, right? Pretty much, because he's so fast with Spider Weaver that he actually he's going to outspeed Apocalypse, is what we're understanding.
Oh, he outspeeds the entire team because
and
of
that's
the
because of his passive, right?
speed up. Yeah, on-spawn speed up. It puts him like at 190 some speed. That's part of the problem.
So he's going to outspeed Apocalypse. He's also going to outspeed Red Hulk, right?
Red Hulk, yeah. And
because they don't have they don't have any on-spawn speed up at all on their side, so this presumably he'll go first. Yes,
he will always go first in that matchup.
And then, of course, we have the ultimate, which is the kind of the wombo combo a little bit with him and Spider Weaver, which gives that turn bar to Spider Weaver. So that should be enough for her to then go ahead of them as well, or
yeah, she'll be going second. But so you missed a couple. You missed something on his passive.
Oh, wait. Oh, the
on
flip
turn. So he has a chance to flip a random positive effect on turn.
Yeah.
That's subject to, of course, the focus resistance check. Okay, let's just say Apocalypse gets the resistance. He resists it. He still has immunity. Well, take a look at that next line. When he does his ultimate, he has 1,000% extra focus because his special is there. He's clearing that immunity. It's gone.
I actually have Skirmisher on him, so I don't know if this was necessary. Some people don't use Skirmisher. Some people use Raider, but who knows? Maybe this will help me against Apocalypse.
I use Skirmisher because you want to be able to put the slows on Morgan Le Fay.
Yeah.
You need all that focus because he doesn't get the 1,000% for that for landing that slow, which is on that ultimate.
I think I did. I had some issues back when I was at like 3-star, kind of 3-star, 4-star, and so now that I think I'm at 6-star, so I think I'll have a much easier time now. But his ultimate's just like so good, right? With the speed bar, with the landing, because you're gonna it clears the random positive effects first. So if you haven't flipped the disrupt, then hopefully it clears it afterwards, and then it's going to have a chance to apply the slow and defense down. So already right off the bat, potentially, and presumably this might happen, is that Apocalypse is going to get neutered either by this or by Spider Weaver, right?
Yeah, because even if Apocalypse gives himself the speed up because he counterattacks, which is not guaranteed, you still have Spider Weaver then to deal with, because Spider Weaver is going to go next.
So who would you... And I realize that because looking back at his kit again for Apocalypse is that on his passive, when he gets stunned, clear stun and heal block and then heal him. So you are healing him if you stun him with Spider Weaver. So Although, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, it applies trauma. So can he shake that off?
No, he'll get
But he
trauma.
might heal,
He'll be
right?
stunned. You can
Or
either use Spider Weaver, or you can also don't forget
will he
Dormammu
heal?
gives trauma as well.
Will he heal even though he can't cleanse it? Or only does the heal only work if he cleanses it?
I don't know.
So I'm not sure
He
how much
wouldn't
that
really have
matters,
much
but
damage at that point, so it wouldn't really matter that much.
so is Apocalypse still going to be the target of the alt, or would it be like Rogue or someone to stop them from being taunted? I guess.
I would just focus on Apocalypse to make sure he can't counterattack anymore, or do anything like that. Get him stunned.
Yeah.
Because after Spider Weaver, if you're using the Four Horsemen in Apocalypse, the next person would go would be Morgan. Morgan would do her ultimate. She will miss because Spider Weaver will have charges.
Right.
Then it will be back to your turn. If you're running Kang, Kang will go. He'll probably a basic and do whoever has the vulnerable, probably Apocalypse at that point.
So are you
After that,
thinking? Are you thinking Spider Weaver 2099, Kang, and the Eternals?
that's one possibility. That's one team.
Because the turn bar, the negative turn bar from the Eternals is still gonna impact them, right? And
Yeah,
so
if you do that team, then you're gonna have Icarus going off after Kang. So congratulations, you lost 25% turn meter, and then here comes Cersei following that up with more turn meter rewind. Red Hulk will literally not even get a turn, or by the time he does get a turn, it won't matter because he'll just be missing with Spider Weaver.
This tier 17 is really tempting actually, because if it turns out that we're continuing this arena meta with pretty much the same team plus Kang, you know, that I'm really tempted to hit that tier 17 on Icarus, because I know that his damage potential is still pretty high, you know, and he's still a very strong character.
He's one of the combos you can use.
The only reason I haven't, of course, is because that's tier 17 gear. I'm not putting on Darkhold for, you know, the saga and whatnot. But I guess it'll come down to whether or not, because we're going to come up against, you know, people with full tier 17s, Apocalypse and Horseman. Because usually for people who do upgrade the teams, they do the Horseman first. That's what I've been hearing a lot. Is that what people have been doing? So as far as the arena meta goes, if that's the case. So, you know, it really makes me wonder what Apocalypse's usefulness is going to be there. Now, of course, we could be wrong. We could be wrong. Maybe Apocalypse has a shit ton of hit points and we just aren't able to kill him, or I don't know. There's some ways that
No, I did all my math based off of the 7-4 Apocalypse, the big boy Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
His resistance isn't enough, even with Morgan Le Fay. His speed is too slow, and his hit points aren't really going to matter because we'll be able to chew through that no problem. Because by the time he's able to get a turn, the other horseman will probably be dead, or he'll be dead as well. So we don't have any problems. And now, that's talking about the big boy Apocalypse. Most people are going to have the little Apocalypse.
Yeah, I know.
It's even worse.
But the scary thing is that the majority of us, I say most of us, probably are sitting on a 7 yellow Spider Weaver because of what happened earlier, right? And so for me, I have a 7 red. I got really lucky and I pulled a 7 red. And basically, I think that if you have a 7 yellow, you might as well just get her a 7 red as well, because, you know, everyone should have that now. And so her damage potential is super high as well, you know. And so her ability to probably, like, you know, run that arena train still is pretty high, given her power. So
yeah, the constant missing.
She's my strongest character, pretty much my strongest character outside of 300k, other than Morgan Le Fay, I think, is the only person on my roster that's slightly higher power level wise. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just curious where this leads and what that means. Now, it doesn't mean that Apocalypse is garbage. I mean, he's going to be useful in other game modes, right? And so what are you expecting to see? You know, because people were saying, like, are you going to break up all of the teams to make an Apocalypse and 4 Horsemen team? How do you see that happening?
No, I don't see that happening
in Crucible or in War. Like, do you think that how would you? I guess it's too early to say how would you beat that, but I mean, would it, because all of them are meta, Darkhold, Unlimited X-Men Gamma, and even Desi to some extent, you know, are meta in Crucible. I personally don't think it'd be worth breaking up 4 teams just to stick them all together, you know, with one team, screwing the rest of them. But maybe some people might. Some people might try and do that, right? You know, because what if the only way to beat that is by using maybe the arena version of what we were talking about, which then breaks up some other stuff as well. Although not as much as you'd think, though, because we're not using...
Once you're going into Cosmic Crucible, you got to remember that Tangled Web has buffs that they don't have in Arena. We had the Masters of Evil, which could pretty much kill anything because they're so fast in Cosmic Crucible. I don't see it being worth it to break up that many meta teams, especially since you're taking pretty much the best character off of those teams.
That's what I keep hearing, though, that people talk about, like, well, how often are you going to see that? Are people going to do it? Is it worth it? I'd probably, just without knowing much, I would probably say no, because that's a lot of meta teams to break up for attacks and defense.
I don't see it happening and being successful. I see people trying it, but they're going to quickly realize it's not a good idea.
And so there's one question that I have for you is that based on what we just talked about with 2099 and Spider Weaver, but like turn bar in general, is there something that maybe it just doesn't, this part here, this line just doesn't go far enough? Like, so what would happen if Apocalypse negated turn bar changes, negative and positive? Would that be necessary? Would that do it?
Different, but not unbeatable.
But would that
you're still putting out a ton of damage? It would just be a matter. The other thing that's the problem with Apocalypse, when you replace him with on the Four Horsemen, you only have to kill him once.
Mm-hmm. But
it's much harder to kill them twice because now you have to worry about them. Oh, if I kill them now, they're going to come right back and take a turn, and Red Hulk could get his ultimate off. His Rogue could get her ultimate off all of a sudden, and I'm done. If I only have to kill him once, I'm not worried about that. I'm just like, yeah, you just get off the board.
And so for that reason, it wouldn't even make sense to bring in Dormammu, would it? Because that's not going to apply to Apocalypse either, right?
Well, yeah, number one, doesn't apply to Apocalypse, and then you got to remove one of the Horsemen.
Yeah. Well, maybe Archangel. I don't know who's the weak link really there. Probably Archangel.
Archangel right now, but with Apocalypse, he gives that energy, but he's still not giving speed. Yeah, you still don't have the speed to go against that. I mean,
Morgan does it though. She does it with her special when you get there to time warp, right? Because this applies speed up for 2 turns to all Horsemen, Apocalypse, and all Horsemen allies.
Yeah, usually by the time you get down to a Morgan Le Fay now, she's like the last one standing by herself, and it doesn't really.
So you don't think this is going to really matter at this point?
No, it doesn't. It hasn't mattered right now. So she's kind of out of.
so knowing everything we just said, I guess what my question is would we see it if Apocalypse doesn't hit the mark? Like we keep hearing, at least I kept hearing, and I think you heard it as well, that this is supposed to be a crazy arena meta team, and if it doesn't hit the mark, what does that mean for the game? What does that mean for Apocalypse, and what does that mean for Scopely Boundless, really, for like not hitting the mark on this? If what we're talking about here is what comes true next week.
What I would say is...
what does that mean for him after a year, right?
It overall is good for the game. It shows that nothing can't be beat, but it also shows that they just really don't play their game. They don't understand how it really works or something. Somebody's not really testing this stuff, not seeing what's going on.
What would you like to see him, not be beaten by 2099 and Weaver, or like, because I mean, realistically, I'm thinking, I don't spend a lot of money, but I'm just trying to get myself in shoes of people who do. If after spending and working your way towards Apocalypse and all this, I would think like it'd be really shitty, right? If he's being beaten by an old meta. That's just how I would feel, I think. I'm trying to be in their shoes.
Yeah, imagine the people who bought T4 Ions, bought T5 Ions when they were available. They're not going to be very happy.
So he should, in theory, he should beat everything else realistically until the next meta or whatever.
The way they described him was, if you're from Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, you know about Galactic Legends. That's what I thought he was going to be like. He was going to have some crazy, ridiculous speed or something, or he would be, prevent turn meter rewind, stuff like that. But he's just like another character, like the Horseman.
And I think that's the most disappointing thing, because after a year, if what we're saying in this video it comes to fruition, then I think there's going to be a lot of disappointed players. I think after waiting for so long, whether you were a spender or not, if you're a spender, maybe you're going to be even more disappointed that your money that you spent to get towards him is not going to be valued as much, because he's just going to roll over from a previous arena meta. Is not going to feel very good.
I think there was a lot of problems. The problem was, I think he was designed a year ago. That's the first problem. The second problem is they didn't give us his kit. They didn't tell us anything about him for so long, and people kept on believing the hype that they were pushing out, that he was going to be this awesome character. Like, and I kept telling people, don't. You hold off and wait and see his kit, see his stats. That makes the difference. You could have the greatest kit in the world, but if you don't get a turn, it doesn't matter.
So don't trust Boundless to tell us that he's going to be good until we actually see the facts. Is what you're saying.
You would think you would learn that from the Ultimate Raid Team Wakandans.
Some people may have not been around that long, but that was quite some time ago now. But yes, they definitely didn't hit the mark. There's a couple of teams that didn't hit the mark, I guess. There was Skilletary.
I remember.
And even Rebirth, I guess, had how many reworks they got?
Yeah, so Rebirth.
So what does that mean then? Maybe if Apocalypse doesn't hit the mark, maybe you get a rework too. Or maybe they'll add something that somehow makes them overcome what we just talked about here today. In some way.
They would have to like add like speed on spawn up, or actually adjust his speed.
He would need to, or somebody else would have to overcome 2099, basically, I think.
Yeah, like stop
to stop him.
Stop all debuffs, like give trauma or like a trauma and a disrupt to the enemy team on spawn. Somehow that would block 2099's getting a speed up or something like that. There's things they can do. It's just a matter of if they do it. Now, how do you overcome him later on?
Right, and so, well, who knows? I don't know if Scopely's watching. I don't know if Boundless is watching my videos. Maybe they are. Maybe they'll hear this and they'll give him some ideas about what to do if he doesn't hit the mark. Because I think we're going to have to revisit this in a week or so and see whether or not what we just said is actually 100% what's going to happen in the arena. And if that is, the fallout, I think, is going to be quite big because people are going to be very disappointed.
You can get an idea of what's going to happen if you ever come across a Dormammu and 4 Horsemen team. That's actually a bit harder team to beat. But just see how fast you can kill the 4 Horsemen before they get a turn the first time. And that will give you an idea of what's going to happen.
Well, you know the answer, so what's the answer?
The answer is they don't get a turn. Or Morgan takes a turn, she misses, game over. You literally, Red Hulk doesn't get a turn, Rogue doesn't get a turn, Dormammu doesn't get a turn, Archangel, well, he's dead anyway, who cares?
So on one hand, I'm really excited that I'm going to be ready for Baby Apocalypse, but on the other hand, I'm like, is this going to change anything? And,
yes.
And that's what I'm... Yes, it will, or yes, it won't.
It's going to change it, but not enough. It's going to change War. It's going to change Cosmic Crucible, because you put Apocalypse against a Darkhold, their safeguard's gone. Yeah. Totally different fight. You put them into the against Unlimited in Cosmic Crucible, safeguard gone. Totally different fight.
True.
You throw him on defense with Death Seed, for instance, and somebody tries to use Infinity Watch. Guess what? They don't have safeguard. All of a sudden, they're blind at first turn. He actually makes Death Seed a lot better team. I think he will be useful in the raids with Death Seed replacing Psylocke. Because if his villain, they're all villains besides Psylocke.
True.
He'll be very important in raids, Cosmic Crucible, and War. Just not Arena right now.
And I think that's going to be the disappointment. They might as well have just labeled him a Crucible character or something like that, and they would have gotten more value out of them, perhaps. Yeah,
because he's going to be... I mean, you can plug and play him just to take out a Darkhold a lot easier. Or if somebody puts Infinity Watch on defense, because Infinity Watch is still an incredibly strong team to this day.
Now that I think about it, he doesn't have any arena callouts in his passive.
No, he doesn't.
Even Morgan Le Fay does, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Morgan Le Fay does.
In arena, Max Barrier.
Archangel does with the Awakened ability.
So this seems like a bit of an oversight. I don't know. To me, we'll have to come back to this in like 10 days. And because that'll give you time to, experiment with him in the arena, and I'll be watching your videos to find out if he actually is getting his ass kicked by 2099 and Spider-Weaver and the ensuing disappointment, because that's where I'm currently sitting at, and I'm just waiting for somebody else to talk about it, who's better at arena than I am, or more to the top of it, and how that's going to look, because that's why we're talking about that here today. I think that's a good part to end at. I think because I'm looking forward to getting him, but I'm also disappointed that he might not do as much as everyone said he was going to. I think
that's pretty much going to be everybody's feeling. But they're going to see he's really good in Cosmic Crucible. He'll be really good in War. So maybe that'll be enough, and of course throw him into raids. Though I
And,
don't really
and
know if
then
we
and then and then
need
there's
him yet.
Kang. Like maybe like again, maybe they just didn't think about all these different characters who might impact the arena meta in general, and they were kind of looking in this narrow field of just Apocalypse and the Horseman against Apocalypse and the Horseman, or against Stormhold or something. Like they weren't thinking of other characters when they built this kit. Maybe.
Yeah, if you go look at the strike time which they first showed off Apocalypse, not the last one, not the 5th anniversary one, the one before that, you'll see like their footage is against Stormhold. And they're talking about how Morgan Le Fay is going to go first because there's so many mystics. No, teams we're using now have like 1 or 2 mystics.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this because it's been a while, but I really want to kind of just write down like everything that they said in relation to Apocalypse and what the expectations were going to be, and how it may in fact miss the mark, and I guess that's I think
Yeah, I think him.
the message here.
I know they didn't want to have him work with Dormammu, but if they would allowed him to be revived by Dormammu, that would also be a big help to him.
Well,
but then you're pairing up Dormammu and him constantly.
True. Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? There's not long left to go, and hopefully we both get him, and I'll be waiting for you to tell me if he's still shit or not in the arena.
Yeah, I promised my viewers if I beat him the first day, I'd make a video of me just replaying the fights laughing.
If you do that, let me know, and I'll share that on my channel too. So I think we're going to end here. Thanks, Dogbert, for coming by the channel and talking about Apocalypse and the arena meta and all of that, because not that I'm super, I'm pretty lazy these days, but, I was looking to, maybe start being a bit more active, but, maybe it's just going to be the same old arena meta again, give or take a couple characters, but I guess we'll find out, won't we? There's not long left. So I will, of course, if you haven't checked out Dogbert's channel and his arena videos, they're really awesome. There's tons of stuff there. I'll be linking his his link in the description down below. So do check him out and subscribe if you can. And thanks everyone else for stopping by the channel as well to watch this video. And of course, everybody, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon and Dogbert, signing out.